And good morning, everyone. Hopefully you caught all of that intro. Either way, yes, it's good to see you. My name is Paul Trani. I'm going to dive into 3D for graphic designers. I'm glad you are here. So hopefully everything is good. Let's do this. Again, welcome, everyone. Cool. All right. Good morning, Monica, Carol, Jan, Vanessa, Michelle, yes. Cody Bear's in the house. Hello. Hopefully everything sounds good. I'll kick on a little bit of background music, but we're going to 3D for graphic designers. Some of the new, actually I've been doing a lot of 3D, so it's been a lot of fun for me. And yeah, I'm glad you are here. So again, kind of start out in Illustrator just so you know. I'll switch over to it now. Yes. Vikram, welcome. All right. Yeah. So, what is an evangelist? You could just call it like Adobe, I don't know, expert, right? For a very small set of tools. And in this case, it's going to be a lot of Illustrator. We're going to dive into additional apps because right down here we have, of course, Dimension, Substance 3D Stager. We even have Cinema 4D, so we could talk about, even there's 3D in After Effects, kind of like a pseudo 3D. But yeah, we'll kind of get into this. And here's just like a number of phrases and things that I'm working on, as you can see. So feel free. I'm just here to help you. Thank you so much for that message, Michelle. I appreciate it. Cool. So hello. All right. We're all about, like, honestly, I think my job is just to empower you guys, to help you. So whatever you need, you let me know, right? Because I'm just here to help you. That is it, right? Help you just get better, to like hopefully inspire you, hopefully to lift you up so we all can grow, because we're all part of one big design family or community. And that's why I'm kind of picking these phrases as well. So, you know, these are all the just fun phrases that we're going to work with, okay, as a designer. That's what we would do. I have a ton of fun fonts that I actually got from my brain. It's reaching into the back of my brain. I don't know. I actually do not remember where I got all of them, but I love some of these fonts. They're actually not from Creative Cloud, but they're so cool, as you can see. But that's what I'll do sometimes, is I'll have maybe some text off to the side and then decide what I want to use. So you can hit the eyedropper. So I for eyedropper, and click to change and see this text, you know, in these different fonts, which is really fun, right? So we could already see, hey, this looks kind of cool like that. And if your artboards don't look like a mess like this, then I don't know what's going on. Congratulations, you're better than I am. But I'm loving these fonts. Yes, look at how these are all kind of connected, right? So these ligatures coming together like that. Just so you know, you can always open up, if you go down to type into glyphs, you could see some of the combined, and this goes for you know, some fonts, not for all of them, but you can see how some of these letters are combined, right? Just makes for a nice look. It's so tightened up. It's just really cool, right? So yeah, if you guys are digging this, we can go with something like this. You know, and yeah, we just continue to design like so, right? Kind of create some sort of fancy stacking, as I'm doing right now, right? And again, I'm going to make this 3D in 1 second. I want to even jump over to, say, for instance, this one here. I like this one, right? Look at how these L's. So the problem with two L's when you put them together is it just spaces it out way too much. But you can see with this font, oh, so sorry, I zoomed out way too far. I like this font because we could see for these ligatures how it links those two L's together and just kind of saves me room, and I don't have to worry about sort of fitting that all together myself. So let's play with this a little bit more, and I'll throw some color at it. See how those L's are hooked together? I can start to adjust this because I want to kind of put it together like a giant puzzle, right? Well, typically, and you guys probably know this, is I do have access to the touch type tool. So I use the touch type tool to kind of move this text into place without breaking it apart. So I can take this W and bring that down to lock it into place. I could take these letters, right? So let's actually move this over. This is kind of crazy that you could even do this, by the way. So we'll put that there. Rather than breaking it apart, look, I could take this R, I could put it clear underneath the A. Right, and take this E and bring it clear over here, right? Just showing you sort of the flexibility you have with the touch type tool, which is kind of crazy, right? So it's cool that we can link this all together. I'll go ahead and change the color just so we can kind of differentiate the words because it's getting hard to read. And welcome. I'm just happy to see you guys. I just want to give you all a big hug and just say that I really appreciate you. And I just appreciate hanging out with you guys. Like, this is what I want to do with my time. I want to do this, and I want to play squash. Those are the two things that I love right now. So, jumping in here, changing these colors. Right? People are like, what the heck is squash? I know, right? It's like racquetball? Who even plays racquetball? What are you, from the 80s? Yeah. All right. So, we just made a quick design. We could always, I'm loving this as well. So nice. If you're ever sampling and you want to sample colors, keep in mind I was using the eyedropper. You can control the eyedropper. If you just double click on the eyedropper, you can say, hey, you know what? You want to steal just the color? You can define just the color if you want to. So to kind of keep that in mind, I'm just into this font right now. I was like, I don't know. I'm just freaking, ooh, that's too much. Too much, Paul, too much. Where's my purple? Boom. Right, this is such my color palette. I'm just loving this. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between these. Oh, pickleball. Can we talk about pickleball like all day long? I've been playing some pickleball as well, which is so cool. All right, so here are my artboards. Let's move these over. Let's make these 3D. Let's play with this. Let's have some fun. Let's grow as designers today, right? And this is what I'll usually do is like it's going to come down to kind of mapping things out like this. Since they're going to be in 3D, I'm going to space them out a little bit more just so you know. You do something like that. Yeah, you get the idea. All right. So let's take this first one. Is anybody playing pickleball? Can we talk about pickleball? I'm here in Denver, and they're going to actually open up a pickleball bar. So you could go play pickleball and drink beer. So that's the whole thing. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Bruce, about the eyedropper tool? If you just double click and like Illustrator is one of those tools that just like has layers and layers of just stuff. It's like your tools even have tools. It's crazy. So anyways, keep that in mind. We'll select all of those. We'll go to Effect. We'll go down to 3D and Materials right here. And these are all the new ones that we introduced in October of last year. So that's where we're at. All these ones. We still have our classic ones, so we could still do a classic extrude and bevel. But we'll just jump in here and we'll just use this extrude and bevel. Click right there. What will happen is we'll open up a 3D panel in a second. Kimmy, do you play pickleball? Anybody? Or does anybody like it? Like playing pickleball? I think it's super fun. So we'll wait for it. There we go. Okay, it obviously like extrudes everything. So I could do all of these at once, but then I can control them individually, right? So again, that's why I have so many artboards, by the way. It's like I will have like a lot of different ideas. And by the way, all I'm doing is making like an Instagram post, right? To lift you up, to say, hey, you know what? We're all family here. We're all just trying to make our way in the world and leave it a better place. Oh yeah, thank you, Steve. There is tennis. I sometimes forget about tennis. So here we are. We are all family. We have this set up. It has this set up as off-axis front. So we can play with this all we want, and we can manipulate these controls. I would like to be able to, let's just expand this out. Save a custom rotation would be nice. But anyways. Okay, so I have 2 of these. Good, good, good. Let's go back in here. We will play with the bevel. So let's turn this down. Let's turn this on. We have a classic bevel. I'm going to jump in and do like a convex, right? In fact, I'm not only going to do a convex, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? Let's make this front. So we're looking directly sort of down on it, and you'll see that in a second. But I've given it a little bit of a bevel with convex, right? You also have step. Right? As I take a look at step, you can add a number of steps. So it might be kind of hard to see, and maybe I'll actually change it back to off-axis front. But I'm adding more and more steps to it, as you can see, hopefully, right? So that's what I'm doing. It's like giving it sort of like more depth. Oh, sorry, I'm adjusting the spacing. The repeating, I'm adding more steps by adding the repeating. Let's give it a little more space, right? See what's happening there? And by the way, I could render this, but I'm giving this just more character. I'm adding character to my characters. Okay, so that's all we're doing. We'll make it front. And yeah, just adding a little bit of depth to it. Ooh, your husband knows a guy with a custom pickleball court. Fancy. Usually they're played on tennis courts. So we'll take this. Hello, Shamim, over there on Facebook. I see you. This is the thing I'm going to do with this. Like, again, I'm going to keep this simple. And as a designer, usually you do explore a tool, you exploit it, you go crazy with it, and then you got to like edit. You got to rein it back. So that's why I just did this sort of front view. But I'm going to jump in and add some shadows. We're going to turn on shadows right here. And we're going to adjust, since you can see the shadow here, we can adjust the rotation. So as I adjust the rotation, that's going to change basically the angle of the shadow, right? Notice I adjust the height, right? I can take that to maybe 80 degrees, something like that. Okay, so keeping this simple. In fact, let's go ahead and render this now. Jumping in here, let's do some ray tracing and hit render. Take a drink of my wonderful blueberry coffee. I got blueberry and I got coconut because I'm ridiculous. But thank you so much for joining me today. And let me know how you guys are doing. Oh, yeah, I'm doing the NFT masterclass in like an hour and a half. So that will be fun. All right, so there we go. It did the rendering. And I don't know if you can actually see it, but it does start to give me a splash of color. I might adjust this a little bit more. I don't know if you can tell, but the shadow is kind of tinted the color of the letter. So let's go over here to this A. You can see that it's actually tinted a little bit of that like orange color, just so you know. All right, so again, it's a little washed out. I'm gonna go ahead and come back in here. I'm actually going to select these, by the way. We're rendering it now. I want to turn that off. So that's just kind of your quick preview to see what it will look like as I start rendering it out. Let's kind of play with some of the lighting, take down some of that intensity of that light, and adjust the height as well. So we'll just wait for it. It's rendering it again. NFT, NFT. Yeah, totally interested and so excited about our NFT masterclass. Make an NFT and post it to either Super Rare or Foundation. Probably Foundation. But you could also use like OpenSea or any one of those others. Okay, turning that off. There we go. I took down the intensity. Because we're bringing back some of that color is all I'm doing. Extending out that shadow. But these are the little adjustments that you have to make. And this is your introduction to 3D, basically. I want to do some more here. I want to do more. Okay. So it's rendering. So yeah, I'm still looking for more softness, so I need to work on that. But we can see right over here again, we're just, I don't know if you guys can just kind of see what's going on with the lighting in here. Still feel like it needs to be adjusted. Oh, here we go. Increase the softness a lot. Actually, let's crank it all the way up. Let's try this one more time. Turn down the intensity a lot, but the ambient, turning up the ambient light. So let's just try this one more time. Right, we're just playing with the lighting. I'm trying to get the softest shadow possible. Wait for it. There we go. Okay. I definitely have some softness now. Holy moly. And this is going to happen. When you do this, you'll start to see these weird bounding boxes, right? You're like, oh, what's that all about? Well, select all those. We want to deal with the shadow bounds. So this is where we go ahead, take that and extend that out sort of even further, right? So give it a big shadow bounds. But this is why you want to toggle on and off that render button, right? So we've maxed out the softness. We start to see the edges. We're going to scale. We would typically scale down the softness and expand the layer bounds, and then we'll be good. Well, welcome everybody on this fine Friday, a day full of master classes. And so yes, wait for it. There we go. That's the idea. So you can see all that softness. I could play with this all I want. I still need to bring up maybe the color intensity and do more adjustments is what it comes down to. Oh, I'm so tempted to. Shall I? By the way, you notice how all my controls went away. It's because, again, nothing is selected. So I go in, I select that content, grab it. We'll take that softness down. Bring up the intensity of the light some. And change the height just a little. Okay, our last render. We're going to hit this button one more time. And Colby's in the house. Colby, how's Florida doing? How's the weather down there? That's where you are, right? I need your exact address, okay? Give me your exact address. But what we're doing here is, as a graphic designer, you're using fonts, you're making a design, and we're just giving it that like little bit of pop using 3D is the goal here, okay? From here, we would export this out as probably a JPEG or something. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Guys, we're finally there. Right? Something kind of like that. So now we have our sort of two different versions. Sort of what you'd start with, pretty straightforward, and then kind of where it's going with this. Just real soft and nice and pretty, right? There we go. Okay. It's nice, right? And this is all done in Illustrator, so totally approachable, and it's nice. Okay, can the bevel, front, back, and extrusion be different colors and materials? Great question, Carol. And the answer is no. So sorry, but there are other tools that do that, and we'd probably want to use Adobe Substance Stager or Dimension or another tool like that, right? So there it is. Here's our design, right? I think this is our board too, which let's take a look. So we'll just call this We Are Family. So from there, now I would export this out. File, export, just this one here as a JPEG. But check this out. So, Carol, since you brought it up, So there it is. Boom. You know, maybe you did do some 3D work in Illustrator and you want to export out those 3D objects. You could do that as well. So check this out. This time I'm going to go into Asset Export. From here, this is the format. Check this out. This is crafty. It's very crafty that we did this. But if we go down in here, there's OBJ. Right, so we could change that as an object file. So this is your 3D, your sort of standard 3D file format, and I can export that out. First thing I need to do is add them all. Right, there we are. Adds them individually. If I want them all as one, what do? I take them, I group them together, drag it in there, and now we have this one, Asset 5. We fam. You know, just like that. And that's the key, is just make sure you change the format, OBJ, and then export that out. And now you could bring that into, say, Stager or some other place. But that's what I'm doing, exporting that out. That's good to go. Cool. So again, yeah, 3D in Illustrator, which is really fun. What else was I going to do with all this? Because I was going to play with this a little bit real fast. Let's take this text. I did this earlier. Hit I, we'll sample that text. Right, let's take this, let's bring it over here. Right, I'm going to try to do this fast. Hurry, Paul, hurry. You guys demand to be entertained. There's so many things I wanted to do. So many things. So this is what I'm thinking for this, okay? So we'll select a similar color palette. Why not? Because I'm just into bright colors, right? Take that, take maybe this, take this. Yeah, one trick pony. Let's take all these just like I did before. Let's move this because I'm accidentally grabbing. But I want to do two more things in here really fast. We'll jump in here. By the way, I don't need to always go to up to Effect 3D Materials. Like, I don't need to do that. I could just have my 3D panel open. Because you notice in my 3D panel, those options are right in here. So I can just go ahead and jump right into to have the panel open. Just makes it easier, right? In this case, we'll still extrude. We're gonna go here, and I'm gonna do like isometric top. Let's really crank up the depth like that, and actually let's control the depth of this text. So I'll cut it. I'm just gonna put it on a new layer because it's gonna be easier that way. Paste it. There we go. So here's everything kind of, I don't know. Let's just orient this a little bit different. There we go. Kind of do something like that, right? So I'm thinking, okay, lift others up. Or lift each other. Is that what it should be? Should it be lift each other up? I don't know. Maybe it should be. Guess what? I could decide to change it to something else. And that's what I want to do. Right now, double clicking. Can I do that? Or can I not? Jump back, get back. Guess what? So this is still in effect. So I can go into, oh, did I do something weird? I might have done something weird. Maybe I'll just undo all that. I'm sorry, but I think I need to change this to each other up. What do you think? If you're doing 3D, it'd be very wise to use a sans serif font, just like something really bold that's easy to read. I'm still unsure about this E, if that's easy to read, but hopefully it is. So what do you guys think? Lift others up. I don't know, guys. The life of a designer. You're on a roll and then you're like, do I even know what I'm doing? What am I even doing with my life? Right? You guys ever get that way? I'm like, what am I even doing? It's like, man, what am I doing with my life? Super easy is what this is. Okay, so this is very interesting. So we ran into something, by the way. Okay, so Bliss Bliss likes lift others up. Yeah, it's like after I typed it in, I was like, okay, lift others up is better. I do want to show you, since I did that copy and paste, I actually lost editing capability. Because notice how I can double click and change this now. If you copy and paste, and this happens for some effects, and I'm not sure why, I gotta figure out why, it will expand them basically. So just kind of keep that in mind. In this case, I'll just send to back. This one. And now I'm being very careful. But there we go. We'll do that. Thought? What about a stroke on them? Yeah, I think we're having some lighting issues. So, George, I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to make it more legible. If I'm following, I hope that's the case. So we can work on that. But also notice that we get these controls actually on the objects. So we can start to adjust this, right? So we can see adjust the Y -10, and that might be kind of cool as well. But you know, my goal is to not make this look precarious, right? This is not precarious lifting up of each other. So that's why I'll probably keep it like this. But you do have these on object controls. But let's still take these and let's play with the depth as I zoom back out. Play with the depth. There we go, like that. Like that. And make this look like steps. Maybe it's like that, like that, like that. Also, what I would do, maybe I would try it. Hey, Rick H, what's up, man? Good to see you. Is maybe those are all separate 3D. Each letter is a separate 3D item, so I can have each letter like a step, so they all kind of flow up. I think that would be awesome. All right. So here we are. We can see that looks pretty good. We'll take all those. We'll go into lighting because I am thinking that for this lighting, I want to just splash a little bit more on top of the letters. So look what I'm doing. And maybe I'll adjust the others. So let's select this one, splash more color on it so we can adjust the height. See what's happening? It's like, okay, that's much easier to read. We can adjust the rotation, right, to make sure we get just those nice shadows. But it's like easier to read aside from the font, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. It's like kind of playing with this, play with the height to get this the way I want. Now, this could have been one solid grouped object that I could be manipulating then I'd manipulate it all at once. But this gives me a lot more control, obviously, when it's different. There we go. See, look, I get these cool shadows like that. Very cool. Okay. So lift others up. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, lighting. You're right. Lighting makes everything awesome. Let me take a look at one more thing over here. Let me jump. Take this. Zip. Do this really fast. I'm just going to try something if I could. We will go into our lighting. We'll go into our shadows. Below object. So I also wanted to show you this. So this sort of lighting. I don't want to do it on my current object because it just doesn't make sense. But here I have this grow. Let's change the rotation of this lighting. You can change the shadows from, instead of coming like directly forward to like above. So that's basically what we're doing. It says behind and below. So basically what changes to behind, we have behind and then we have below. So now, again, you can see me rotate the light. You can see what's happening here. Move that way. Go into object. Let's change this. Isometric left. Go into lighting, change the shadow, the bounds, right? So just making that nice and big, and then changing like the rotation like so. Okay, so you can kind of see just what you can do with the shadow, and you get the idea. Is Adobe going to come out with 3D modeling software? JT, I certainly hope so. I can't tell you word one. I don't know. I hope so. Like, man, I second that for sure. I've honestly been using like Cinema 4D, you know, which is, there's a steep learning curve going from Illustrator to Cinema 4D or full on 3D package. What I do want to get into is Stager, and luckily enough, I have 25 minutes so I can get into Stager. So, Mahmood, good to see you over on Facebook. Jordan, what's up? Mehdi, you're too kind. We're just rendering this out just to see what it looks like. So, and yeah, Marsha, that was funny. Are we still in Illustrator? All right, so lots going on. Not only do you get introduced to 3D, you get to introduced to render times. Just so you know, I'm just on a MacBook Pro 2018. I don't know all the specs on it, but again, it's like 4 years old. Holy cow. My laptop's 4 years old. So, yeah, you're going to have render times. And that's what happens. And it just depends on, obviously, what you're working on. While that's doing its thing, hey, guess what? Let's jump over to Stager. Like I said, you have access, or you can always check out Stager, and you can check out like sort of all the 3D tools. Let's move that off to the side. If you go into your Creative Cloud desktop app, 3D and AR, you have Stager, Painter, Substance 3D Designer, and a number of other things. Okay, Stager is a lot like Dimension, right? Here's the deal, just so you know, Bliss. Let's be honest. I want to be honest with you guys, like seriously. We can only have two products that do pretty much the same thing, right? And just common sense says, why do you have two products that pretty much do the same thing? You know, that's a good question. But you would think that we're a smart company. We're not gonna. I wouldn't think that we would have two engineering teams working on these two different products. You know, you could guess that, you know what? It's like, do you need to? So I didn't say anything. I didn't get myself in trouble. I'm just saying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm trying to not get in trouble. Can you do multiple paths in 3D? For instance, type with a stroke or offset path. Thank you, Bliss, for clearing that up for me. Yeah, you can. If you can make it 3D, excuse me, if you can make it in Illustrator, you don't throw a ton of effects on it, but as long as you can have it outlined, yeah, that can be 3D. So Stager is Dimension on steroids. Good way to put it. Say no to steroids, by the way. But here I am in Stager. We'll jump in. We could do the same thing right in here. We can say, what was the word I was working on? I was working on grow. So let's add some text. I already have some fancy lighting, right? Here's my text. Rotate that around. I'm using some shortcut keys, just so you know. I don't even know where they are in the interface. But the 1, 2, and 3 keys will allow you to kind of pan out, move up. Here's my text. And we'll select the text. We'll go into Object. We'll change this to Grow. What was the font we used? I don't remember. We'll find out in a second. All right, there we go. Here's our render, by the way. And this is what was taking so long. As we can see, we have this lovely fall off of the shadow. See how it gets a little bit blurry? So there's some depth of field, and that's what was taking the rendering a little bit of time. So now we know. I don't know. Let's play with this some more. Let's play Do it. Get it, Paul. Get it. Ooh, that's fun. 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 Ooh. Too many fun fonts. I'm really into this one, by the way. Kind of nice. Let's see what it looks like in all caps. Oh, I like this one too. This one kind of looks, it's very organic, so I'm kind of into this font. It is called Brams, and I got it from Pixel Surplus, just so you know. Hello, Gorilla Gangs. So Brams is what it's called. So yeah, I'll use Brams in Substance 3D Stager. Type in Brams. There it is. There we go. We have our lovely font. Oh, there's more I want to do back in Illustrator because I did not... I was waiting for that render. That's the only reason I'm back in here. But here's my... Just so we can compare the two. Select this. What were we dealing with? We were talking about the... Ooh, sorry. Yeah, there we go. We were talking about the bevel. Well, sure enough, like you said, we have the bevel in here. We can turn that on and deal with that. We can do stepped, just like we were doing before. Repeat it as many times as we want. I have some crazy lighting going on in here, but you could see the number of steps happening like so. And yeah. All right, let me jump back in here. I just want to do this really fast, right? Let's do Love and Learn. I was thinking like Live and Learn, but instead of Live and Learn, it's Love and Learn, right? So this is one thing I was going to do really fast, is just point out that it's not all about extruding things. So you can go to Object, sure enough, Inflate, right? There we go. And now we have this nice, look at this lovely, like tubing, if you will, that I made really fast. It looks pretty good. For this as well, I can crank up the metallicness, and this might be kind of hard to see. I hope you're able to see it. And I might even do a different graphic. But right in here, I just used Inflate. So just to recap, I just used Inflate, and now we can see we get this lovely, right, sort of piping. Oh, you use Inflate a lot? Oh, that's cool. You know what's Inflate is good for? Let me do this really fast. You ready? Shoo. Shoo, shoo, shoo. A different color. Doesn't matter. Go. Go. Faster. Faster, Paul. Faster. I haven't had breakfast yet, so maybe that's why I'm thinking of doing this. But just jumping in here, sort of doing a different graphic altogether, right? Boom, there we are. All I did is we're using our magic eyedropper, right? Since all this is an effect, I'm making a donut, by the way. All this is an effect. As we can see, it's 3D materials, right? I was just able to sample it, and it applies it to this shape here, right? The cool thing is we could always adjust this as well. Why? There we go. Select this. Zip. Make that even smaller. I think it just needs to be smaller. I want more donut and less hole. Just in life in general. More donut, less hole. Don't listen to me. But again, we made that really quickly. We have our donut. We can change. I don't know why I always feel like the lighting should be from like the upper left, but there it is. Right, we want to add some sprinkles to it. Rounded rectangle tool, you guessed it. Zoop. Just like that. I already have it set up, by the way, and this is just how I have this appearance panel is NewArt does not have basic appearance. I'm actually using the same properties there. But check this out. We'll jump in here. Let's just change the color. There we go. Here's our little sprinkle. Just want a little sprinkle. You know, placing it in place, and you get the idea. Okay, cool. By the way, so let's do this one more time. You ready for this? Oh, I agree. 100% Rick H. Boston Cream. Ask me, or tell me, guys, like, whether you're going to, I don't know, I only know, what is the, Tim Horton. Whether you go into Dunkin' Donuts or like Tim Hortons, what donut do you guys get? I definitely do the Boston Cream donut. So here this is, by the way. I could take this. I did put all that work together to make it. I can save this as a style. I could save this as a symbol, by the way. Just saving that as a symbol like so. I can grab my symbol sprayer tool, right? I have that symbol selected, right? And we can go ahead and give our donut like sort of all the sprinkles that we want. Okay, just giving it sprinkles like so. Boop, boop, boop. Add sprinkles. Guess what? They need to be different orientations. So we want to go ahead and spin them. So here I'm just spinning these different directions. Right, so again, just kind of making a donut. You guys get the idea. Let's move on. Sprinkles. Ooh, honey cruller. Wow, Megan. I don't know if I've ever even had one. I don't know why that's not on my radar. I think it's too fancy for me. It's probably too fancy. I'm like, that is a bougie donut right there. Right, take those. All I'm going to do, let's take these. We're going to still try this because we might have discovered an error. Let's just take these. Let's move them over. I'm duplicating them, rotating them, and then I would change the color to make these sprinkles different. But you get the idea. Okay, we're done with our donut. Play with that all you want. Cronuts are amazing. If you could find a cronut, So Bavarian cream is the same as like a Boston cream, right? It's basically like a pudding. It's like a vanilla pudding on the inside. Okay, there we are. Boom, did it, right? Now you have, hopefully you feel empowered when it comes to creating 3D, and hopefully you love it, and you're learning something, because hey, why not? All right. There's everything we've created so far. Now we can jump back into Stager and continue to work. Yeah, I agree. Not enough donuts. By the way, I'll get a blueberry donut. There's a blueberry cake donut that they have at Dunkin' Donuts. I also like their coffee because I like sugar, and that's what most of it is. It's just a bunch of sugar. You know? Love donuts. All right. So here we are. One thing I did not show. Since I'm even getting into materials in Adobe Substance Stager, wanted to point out that, yeah, we have materials in. So if I really want to play with this, by the way, we'll take this. We will create outlines. We'll grab this. You know, I want to just make this look like it's growing. So we'll just stretch that out like so. Right? And I can add some different elements to it. But what I'm going to do, check this out. We'll go in here. We don't even have to give it any sort of 3D-ness, if you will, but we could always add materials to it, right? So I'm just adding some iron rust, and I'm not sure why. Wait for it. Boom. There it is. So again, materials is one thing I did not. Here's crocodile skin. Well, that doesn't really say grow to me. And that's what you'll do. You kind of go through here and maybe notice that really nothing here is working, right? Wood? No, nothing says grow. So sure enough, we can go grab more materials in these two places, on Substance 3D Assets or Community Assets. So I'm going to click Community Assets, jump out there. Nikki, sounds like you're living the dream. You're eating candy hearts for breakfast. By the way, candy hearts are the perfect thing to do to make 3D, to do exactly what I'm doing. Candy hearts, perfect. Extrude it, rounded bevel, right? You're done. It's going to be nice. Okay, so we'll go in here. We'll go into, let's say, like natural grounds. Oh, here we go. Ivy vine. Boom. Let's get that. Boom. Let's get this stylized mossy cliff. Anything else that we like? Some grass, right? Moss substance. Small forest ground. I'm just going nuts. Ooh, Wes McDermott. Oh, look at Wes. So these are SBSAR files that I'm downloading. Right? In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that. Boom. I'm going to ungroup it because I want each letter to have a different material. So I've downloaded those materials. We'll go right over here. We'll click this plus button. We'll go to downloads, and then we can take a look at the latest ones that we could load in. Jabin. It might take a second because these are like high quality images. And we could take a look at the size in a second as well. Yes, you, Bliss. Bliss, we will allow you to contribute to the materials available. Yes, you can. So you can see right here, by the way, this is going to mean if you really wanted to go heavy duty into creating a material, Substance 3D Designer is how you'd make these materials, right? And you can see right up here, upload your own, get your name in there, live your life, right? So right up here, we could see there's the dirt ground amongst all of the ones that I've used. So there's that. You get the idea. Creek bed. Wait for it. Yeah, JT Franks, good question. Why is there no perspective adjustments? I don't know, but any of those features we're like currently working on, and that's also why you still have classic. So you do have classic if you need it, but we are working on those other features. Because another thing you want to do is you want to actually like map text or map. What am I saying? Yeah, you want to be able to put images on the side of a 3D object. So yeah. That one looks like broccoli. I'm going to grab one more material, then I'm going to jump back into Stager. Stylized mossy cliff. All right. Selecting that, there we are. Our different materials that we can steal from. And by the way, we could always take this and say, hey, you know what? Let's, you know, inflate it or whatever. Okay. So that's doing its thing. It'll inflate. Give it a second. Let's just jump into Stager because I don't have much time. Yeah, check this out. Oh, this is why I was doing grow, by the way. Let's go back here. I wanted to show you all these in Stager, like all these awesome materials. We're doing grow. Let's grab this foliage. Yeah, let's grab this foliage. Let's bring it in. Let's drop it like so. Scale it down. Hold down the shift. You might have a problem grabbing these individual, but shift key just like that. Bring that over like so. And check this out. For this, I really need to change the lights. I get it. But check this out. Let's select this and let's take a look at this, the object properties. Look at all this stuff. We can give it more or less leaves, for instance. So we're taking the leaf amount down or up. So kind of having this control, stem radius, things like that. I have full control over this. Look at this. It even looks like it's growing. Magic. Right? Awesome stuff. Hello, Jordan. How you doing? Afroja. So this is like super cool. Still not crazy about the lighting, but that goes for a number of these. So whether it's steps or a bookcase, anytime you see an icon that has these controls means it has additional controls on it that you can play with. So again, if I want to drop in this foliage on the very top, notice how it actually gives me that that plane. It's like, pop, there it is. Take it, scale it down a lot. You know, I don't know, this one. This one, again, I'll make the stem. I want the stem to be thicker. There we go. Thicken up that stem radius a little bit. But that's all I'm doing for this one. I don't know, something kind of like that. Okay, so I'm using the shortcut keys, by the way, to orbit, pan, and then dolly. So I'm just kind of moving things around that way. Let's go into the lights, because my lights are nuts. Let's go back into starter assets, checking the time, 5 minutes left. Lights, too much. Yeah, let's get some sun in there. There we go. It's easier to see. I'm so sorry that was weird blue. But what I was doing is I was using this Studio 80s horror. I don't know why. Ooh, cave entry. Let's try that. So there you go. And then changing the material from there. Right. So right in here, as we select that, we have material. Right. Who is it? Carol? Someone asked about sort of different materials on different sides. That's where Substance Stager comes into play. We can see all these different sides. We could decide to sort of add more materials or different materials to each side. Yeah. Notice how all these materials have additional controls as well. I'm just going to grab this like metal. I'm going to drop it right on that text layer. Right? So there it is. Applies it to all the faces. And these are all the sort of the options that you have for it. The height. Half of these anistrophy, I can't even pronounce the word yet, even know what it really does, by the way. So I'm sure there's somebody out there smarter than I am that can help me. Coat. Anyway, I'm not even crazy about this. Like, let's throw some sand on it. I don't know. I want something with some depth. All right. Anyways, see, that looks maybe a little bit better. Like maybe this is sort of rough ground, and you have these plants kind of popping up out of it. Let's change this back to round. Okay, take down the depth. Maybe not. 0.5, something like that. All right, so I'm working on it. Give me time. But thank you so much for joining me today. I'll work on this a little bit more, but you can definitely see what Stager can do and the power it has. And don't forget, if you want 3D models, you could always jump out to stock.adobe.com and just go to free, and then you can search for models, right? So free, there's going to be free models in here. Let's just hit enter, right? So I just went to free, I hit enter, and then I select 3D. So what I just did is I just revealed over 1,000 free models that you can have on Adobe Stock. So check that out, grab what you want. Stay tuned, we got so much more to show. And I also have my live stream about creating NFTs. So that's going to be a lot of fun in an hour and a half. But stay tuned for the lovely Terry White, who I admire way too much. I'm a big T. White fan, and hopefully you are as well. But thanks so much for hanging out with me, and we will see you all in about 90 minutes for creating NFTs as we knock one out in no time. Thank you, Bobby, Orlando, Mike, Marsha, Colby, everybody, my friends. I will see you soon, and I will leave you in, of course, Terry White's capable hands. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks. Bye.